Hey everybody, how's it going? I am your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Phoenix, Arizona, here in Studio MC1 at QuickSurf Internet Studios. Linux News Log is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Do feel free to head on over to techpodcast.com and check out all the other technology-related shows over there. I'd like to encourage everybody to visit us online at quicksurf.com and check out all the news that we have linked up in the show notes, as well as past episodes if you're so inclined. Also, if you want to, please do subscribe to the show. If you're a YouTube subscriber, then please subscribe to the show. It's much appreciated. If you visit us on the website, you can download the audio and video versions of the show, whichever one you like best, by simply clicking on the subscribe link and copying that URL and pasting it into whatever podcatcher you happen to prefer. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the stories for this episode. Starting off over at geek.com, the Retina Display MacBook Pro apparently does not play nicely with Linux. It's a well-known fact that MacBook Pros, even though they're kind of expensive on the hardware side, they're some of the fastest computers you can buy for Windows and Linux, as well as OS X. And the new MacBook Pro that has the Retina display, apparently, according to this write-up, does not play well with Linux. The display setting, just the display resolution is so high, it's difficult to get it to work. The NVIDIA graphics card doesn't work. The Wi-Fi doesn't work out of the box. You have no Ethernet unless you use the Thunderbolt adapter, which also doesn't reliably work. So there's a lot of things hardware-wise that the new MacBook Pro has that Linux is struggling with. Hopefully, here in the near term, some of those issues get ironed out, because in terms of just hardware, the new MacBook Pro is pretty sweet. Now, you can get a standard 15-inch MacBook Pro, which comes with, you can get it configured almost exactly the same as the Retina display, minus the Retina display. You can get the same CPU. I don't think you can get up to 16 gigs of RAM, but you can get 8 gigs of RAM. The hard drive, you can get up to a terabyte hard drive. It comes with all the standard I/O that a normal MacBook Pro comes with, not the Retina display model. They do cut a bunch of the I/O out just to fit it in that thinner form factor. So there is some stuff that you can compromise on if you don't have to have that high resolution display. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting article. If you're considering getting a new MacBook Pro with the Retina display to run Linux on, wait. Don't do it. Not yet. Someday, but not right now. From Java World, Oracle has updated Java and JavaFX for OS X, ARM, and Linux. This is pretty nice. The Java Platform Standard Edition 7 Update 6 adds support for OS X, including the JRE and JDK. This is the first Oracle release of a JRE for OS X. Historically, Apple has provided this, so this is the first time that Apple is not providing it, at least for OS X. You can also get this update for Windows, Linux, and Solaris. The key point, and the reason why it's included here in this episode, is Linux. Now, I'm a huge proponent of Java. I mean, you can write portable code in C and C++ that runs on multiple platforms, but not with a GUI, at least not reliably well. And with Java, it allows you to write GUI apps that run on Windows, OS X, Linux, and behave the same. So pretty interesting. I've been a Java developer for a long, long time, since 2005, and almost always, inevitably, I will do something in Java first, and the only time I step outside of Java is if there's something that I have to do that Java doesn't support. But rarely is that the case. You can do a lot and get a lot of mileage with Java and have it multi-platform. So something to keep in mind if you're a programmer. From zdnet.com, Linux Mint developers are forking the Nautilus file system. As soon as my browser pulls up the story here. A GNOME file manager fork. This is written by Stephen J. Von Nichols. I love all the stories he writes. Once upon a time, his story starts off, the GNOME Linux Unix desktop team could do no wrong. That was a long time ago. GNOME has lost many of their Linux desktop supporters. The GNOME developers proposed changes to Nautilus, the GNOME file manager, and the Linux Mint developers have started to work on their own fork of Nautilus called Nemo. So pretty interesting. Keep an eye out for it. I don't have a time frame of when this is going to happen, but I would say probably in the near-term future. From semiaccurate.com, Pandora, the handheld console for Linux tweakers. This is pretty interesting. The Semi-Accurate staff got a chance to interview Michael Mrozek, one of the core members of a small community named Open Pandora, which produces the Pandora handheld gaming console. Long before Kickstarter and crowdsourced development, the Open Pandora team was designing and producing their own handheld gaming console based off what their fellow forum members wanted. The idea was to produce a handheld gaming console that met the needs of their highly active but small forum. It had to be a fully functional Linux PC, among one of them, which is the reason why we're including it here on the show. It had to have an awesome D-pad and be powerful enough to emulate the mass-market console gaming systems that had preceded it. So anyway, this is it's an interview, pretty cool. Check it out. You know, if you're not familiar with Pandora, by all means, go look it up. It's one of those really cool things that, you know, just by and large, you know, is one of those projects that could be successful because it's a small core team of really enthusiastic people that actually do want to use it and make it usable. It's something that they would want to use themselves. All too often you run into these, you know, products where the people that are, you know, producing it, they're developing it, whatever the case may be, you find out that they don't actually use their own products. And it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, well, hang on a second here. You know, what makes a product great is the person developing the product actually uses it. You know, just my thought. From Datamation, 15 must-have Linux applications. This is pretty interesting if you're just starting Linux and you're looking for some apps. LibreOffice is #1 on the list. Events, it's a PDF viewer. Gscan to PDF, another great one. Self-control, Kazam, VLC. Well, VLC you have to have on pretty much every platform. I mean, come on. GUVC View, Pithos is another great app that they've got listed. I'm not going to tell you what all these apps do. Please go visit the story if you want. If you want to check out these apps. FileZilla, love FileZilla. Skype, Pulse Audio Volume Control, GIMP, love GIMP. Free File Sync, Involgo Tracker. Yikes. And Terminal. Obviously, you got to have Terminal. Anyway, check the story out. Pretty interesting. You know, definitely something that you know you want. If you know, a lot of these are like core things that that I actually have installed. When I saw it, I was like, oh wow, I got that installed. Pretty neat. From ZDNet, SanDisk FlashSoft expands from Windows and Linux servers to VMware and vSphere. This is pretty interesting. SanDisk is making another push into the enterprise market with the introduction of FlashSoft for VMware's vSphere virtualization platform for building cloud infrastructures. I'm not going to get too far into this story, but pretty interesting nonetheless. And the story that I thought was most interesting is over at PC World. Tesla's CTO is talking the Model S, batteries, and in-car Linux. That's right, in Car Linux. It's an interview between IDGNS, which is the IDG News service, and Tesla's CTO. Check it out. Pretty lengthy and in-depth, so unfortunately I don't have enough time to cover it all here, but still, check it out. That'll do it for this episode of Linux News Log. As always, everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes, which you can find online at quicksurf.com. Please subscribe to the show if you have not already done so. And with that, I will see all of you on the next episode. I'll see you then. Bye.